Welcome to the International Juggler live stream recording for May 2021. I'm Luke. Here's Juliana. Say hi, Juliana.
Hello, everyone.
And this is the live stream where we look back through all the juggling video clips or the travel video clips that I've shared on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook. I guess they go from Instagram to Facebook automatically. Yes. Of me in the past, I've got 3,000 juggling clips or 3,000 video clips of me juggling all over the world, and I'm picking out some of my best and favorite ones to share on Instagram. I've normally been done these month-long themes. You know, I did every country in order, which took actually a lot longer than a month. And then we did waterfalls versus fountains. Sculptures. Did other ones. This last month I've been doing some weekly themes. So instead of trying to find 30 videos of me juggling with animals, 7 videos of me juggling with animals, and I can be a little bit more selective. So those are what I'm going to do. And just before I get into this, as everybody asks, they say, hey, why don't you do more creative camera work, or why don't you do more creative juggling? Why are you always juggling 5 balls? When I was recording these clips, I never imagined I would be sharing them individually one at a time on Instagram. The way it works is that I was filming them to be used in montage. So you're going to see me juggling for about 3 to 4 seconds, and then cut to another clip, and then cut to another clip, and then cut to another clip. And after a lot of experimentation, I realized that trying to do different tricks in each one of these, it just didn't work. So a basic 5-ball cascade or something simple like that, which so your eye is drawn to the juggling, but also then your eye is drawn to the background and the scenery and the objects and the animals, and the other thing that's happening is that's what your eye is drawn to. So if I was to continue this series now, which was also being shared on Instagram, that it's not just me juggling in different places around the world, that it's actually being shared like in a montage. It's actually, the plan was to be sharing on Instagram. I wouldn't just do the basic 5-ball cascade. I would try and make it more interesting. But considering I started this project in 2009 and now it's 2021, which is a long time doing this project, there's a lot of inertia, a lot of 5-ball inertia. So with all of that said, let's get into it. Oh, my mother just sent me a message.
Hello, Kathy. Hello, Kathy and Cliff.
My parents have just tuned in, so hi, Mum and Dad. That's really great. And hello, Josh. All right, Josh from the Netherlands. He's watching this too. So yeah, let's get straight into it. I'm going to switch over to this view. So I did some weekly themes this time out. You will be looking over here.
Oh, okay.
That's the idea, is that you're going to look over there. Is that cool?
Yes.
So the weekly themes, the first weekly theme that I did was Big Gun Week, with the idea being that I'm going to be sharing lots of big guns. Now, the interesting thing about big guns is you get them where there's military presence, and what we know about the British Empire is that they liked choke points and shipping areas. So Singapore, really good. That's the way through the Pacific to the Pacific to the Indian Ocean. The Falklands down the bottom there as well.
South
Malta,
America.
very important
Yes.
in the Suez Canal also, that's good. And then of course Gibraltar. And this is an anti-aircraft gun. It's a QF 3.7-inch anti-aircraft gun, and this is the Napier of Magdalena battery in Gibraltar. And I recorded this in 2013. Let's have a look at it again. Of course.
That's 2012.
Oh, sorry, 2000. Yeah, it's 2012. That's what I meant, 2012. And so that's it. You see, it's got these cool lightning catching things here, because these are big guns on the side of cliffs. You want to
out in the open.
Yeah. Next up for Big Gun Week, this is.
That's loud.
Yeah, let's turn this down a bit. I didn't realize it was going to be windy. This is Newfoundland, which is again was, I think, a British colony. I mean, all of Canada was as well.
Yes.
And this was a fun walkout that we did. This little building at the top here is a radio station. The first transatlantic radio broadcast was from Ireland across to this. It's called Signal Hill in St. John's in Newfoundland. What do you mean?
When that first signal?
Oh, I don't know. But they had already had cables going
under the
sea. But this was a radio transmission, and this point was the closest point that they could get, like between Canada, and that's why, like, all the ships that went over in the Second World War, they would go over here. This is, of course, not a gun from a Second World War, but there are some other gun emplacements from that. Yeah. So this is the Queen's Battery. You know, it's like I say, it's all. And that was in 2010 in Canada. Yeah, pretty good. Next up, Here is this is a big gun in this is a place called The Battery in Charleston, South Carolina, and this is a 13-inch Seacoast Model 1861 mortar.
Wow, these have crazy names.
I know. I actually had a lot of fun looking up, and I was like, "What is this gun?" And I would always look at Wikipedia pages for that thing, and I was like, "Is it 13-inch?" But of course, it's been filled in. And then I found a whole discussion on the Wikipedia page of one of the cannons is actually a replica cannon that somebody cast out of like really rubbish iron, and then buried it, and then dug it up and was like a cannon, and they're like, "Wow, that's great!" And so not all of these cannons are real. This is actually an interesting thing that they talk about the statues in the southern United States of the Confederate statue. This is one of those places. It's like a classic place. You're going around, you go, oh, War Memorial, and this was the first time that I'd ever visited the south of the United States and really noticed this. Oh no, it wasn't actually. No, I'd noticed it before, but this is one of the times that I did it. Actually, the first time I noticed it was in the when I was at the University of Texas at the Austin Juggler Fest, and they had all these statues lined up, and I was going down them, and it was literally one of those. Wait, these are all the people who lost the war. Anyway, this is one of those memorial gardens with like Confederate statues around, but at least they've got a stars and stripes there. All right, next up in the Big Gun Week, this is a QF 4-inch Mark IV naval gun, and it's of the same kind of stuff. It's the same manufacturer as the anti-aircraft gun.
It looks quite similar.
Yeah. But
what's going on with your hood?
Well, it's all of these places are very windy. So
yes.
this is at Gypsy Cove in the Falkland Islands, and lots of people think, oh, this is from the Falklands War. No, this is from like the First World War, and then they had other stuff in the Second World War.
Wow, this is so crazy.
It's lots of big guns there, and I've got lots of. I had to pick. I think I have 5 different videos of me juggling in this spot, because the Falklands is a place that I go to like every year. Not this year, but I would normally go there almost once per year, sometimes 3 times per year, and this was one of my favorite walks, so you go and see some penguins. More about those later. Next up on Big Guns Week, this is Fort King George, and this is just a cannon. It turns out a lot of these are not real cannons. They're just, they're made to look good. They might as well be prop cannons.
Yeah, they look quite propish.
This is in Scarborough in Trinidad and Tobago, actually Tobago, in 2017, and I have other videos of me visiting there again. But it's the previous video was I only had my GoPro camera with me. That's all I had, because I think I ran up that hill. But tell you something, sometimes it's very hot out there.
Well, yeah, it's the Caribbean.
Victor Coco says, we have cannons firing with reenactments in the USA. Yeah,
I've seen a few videos of this.
I remember watching a movie which was like set during the Civil War, and and they actually just got all the Civil War reenactors out, and they're like, and now the battle, and you could see all these cannons going off, but you realize, it was cheaper to have 10 cameras all filming the same cannon as a fusillade, as it was like boom, 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 and then the next time you saw those cannons go off in the movie, it was like boom, 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 and you're like, that was the same time, and you realize, it's just exactly the same cannons and stuff. But yes, I have seen that really good fun. All right, so weirdly enough, only 6 big gun cannons in Big Gun Week. I think I missed a video. I've got some others that are coming up later though. Oh no, here it is. This is the biggest gun. This is the
big gun.
Armstrong 100-ton gun, and again at the Napier of Magdalena battery in Gibraltar. I actually videoed this not just on the same day as the previous one. It's actually they're actually in the same place. Check this out. Okay, here's the small gun. What's in the background of the small gun? It's the big gun. So that's the Gibraltar big gun there. Now this was the biggest.
This looks like a telescope.
No, it's huge. But actually underground, it took like 20 men to fire it, and because you would have to swing the cannon. The cannon arm would swing over to the side, down. You would get a crane. You would slot the thing into it. It would then tip it up, and then you'd put the gunpowder into it, and push the gunpowder into it. And there's these big rods which would push the gunpowder in from the side, and then the cannon would swing around to the other side, and then it would get its shell and be pushed in, and then it would swing back around, and then you could shoot it and fire it. They could shoot it once every like 6 minutes or something. It took 6 minutes to reload the gun. Now the history of these guns are really good. There was this company the Armstrong Company, which is based in Newcastle, and they're like, "Hey, we've got this big gun," and the British Navy was like, "Nah, we don't need a gun that big." And they're like, "Oh, well, we've designed it anyway." And they said, "Who else wants it?" And the Italian Navy was like, "We'll take the big guns." And they actually bought 6 of these or 12 of these big guns to put on their ships. But that means that a British gun company was selling arms to the Italian Navy, which were then big enough that the ship could then shoot these gun emplacements in Gibraltar and Malta. So then the British were like, "Make us an even bigger gun," and they couldn't work it out. And they're like, "Oh, just make us the same guns." So in the end, the British Navy did buy some guns from Armstrong, but only because the Italians had already bought some guns, and they're like, "We need some guns which can match these other guns." Of course, they were never used. They like almost as soon as they were installed, they were out of date because then the ships would move too quickly and things. But there's another one of these in Malta which I haven't visited. All right, next big gun. This is
so big.
It's not big. It's just I had some videos of me by other cannons. This is in. I don't have this in my notes because I didn't share this one. This is just some other videos that I had around.
That's in St. Martin.
That's in. No, it's in Saint Martin. There's St. Martin and Saint Martin. This is on the French side of the St. Martin. Saint Martin. Yeah, this is Saint Martin, not in Saint Martin. Although I think over at the back here is actually Saint Martin, and this is just like across the border here in
confusing
Saint Martin. That's the only land border that France and the Netherlands has, because they got Belgium in the way in Europe, but they actually have a border over in the in between Saint Martin and Saint Martin. It's all old forts. Yes. And this is in another cannon in Lanzarote. It's just me in front of a cannon in Spain, in a Spanish island. Again, little forts. The cannon would never normally be on the outside of the wall, but it's these are good tourist attractions.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Next theme.
Wet Luke Week. This is in Funchal, Madeira. Yeah, I've had this clip.
There's a ball lift.
There's a ball lift, and here he comes in, and in this case, I stop juggling. The ball slips out. It drops into the ocean.
Did you get that back?
I did not get that back. Do you see where I'd have to go down? Like, that water is really heavy. It really does get to me.
Oh, God.
So, people often ask me, like, there's this clip of me in Zanzibar.
Oh, you're soaked.
There's this clip of me in Zanzibar where I drop a ball into the water and then I pick it up. And I mentioned before with one of those clips with me juggling and sliding down the glacier. You remember that clip? Yes. And I'd lost a club, and then I shared the story of me.
This year.
Yeah, and this year, looking back at the video, I was like, "Oh, I didn't lose the club. It was laying there. It was laying there on the ground." So people ask me, "Have you ever lost anything?" Yes, I've lost one juggling club when I fell down off a glacier, and this is the other one here in this spot in Madeira when I was juggling and I was trying to get a good place of me juggling, and that was the one that really caught me out. I didn't know I was going to get wet, and then once I was wet, I was like, "I'm going to get an even better one." So this is here.
You keep juggling,
and so this one I tried to keep juggling, and it went in. But then this next wave, this was one of the biggest waves. Now, this was one of the most expensive juggling clips that I've ever taken, because I wear it's weird to say this, but down here, you see this other wet stuff down here? I didn't realize there was some other wave crashed here, and I left my phone in a pocket of my bag. You know, like that side pocket, like that thing. And I was like, well, I don't want my pocket, because the first time I got wet, I'm like, well, I'm taking my phone out of my pocket, and I put it into the backpack, and then water got into it on the backpack. So then after I'd set up this filming, and I spent maybe like 20 minutes like trying to get a good shot here. I've got loads of other clips of me juggling here, getting hit by waves, and then I went back and I was like, oh, my phone's broken, and I was just about to sail across the Atlantic, and I needed to listen to podcasts and audiobooks.
Oh no.
And so I literally on the way back to the ship, I went to a shop and bought myself one of those little square iPod Nanos. No, not shuffle. No, it's the small one, which is about the size of an Apple Watch. But so I bought myself that, and then when I got back to Berlin, I went to the phone shop and was like, "Hey, give me a new phone." And they're like, "This has got water damage. You have to pay €200 to get the phone replaced." So this is my most expensive ever juggling clip. Here we are in the Blue Lagoon in Iceland in 2010. This was, and there was quite a few of us there.
What's that on your face?
This is the Blue Lagoon is a thing where they shove out water from a volcanic geothermal, like a geothermal power plant, and this water just gets put out here, and then it drains through there, and then and they have these big places where it drains all this salt and silt out of the water, and it's meant to be good for your skin. It isn't. They just say that to the tourist people. So there's this,
and it's not harmful to your skin.
No, it's meant to be beneficial. It's certainly not harmful. I don't think it is beneficial, but it's certainly not harmful.
Yeah.
So
it looks funny.
It is funny. So that's what I've got on me there. And yeah, I went there on my own thing because I'd just been on the ship for a few days. And when I got there, I think I took a taxi or a bus out there. And then I got there and I met loads of crew from the ship. And they're like, Luke. And I'm like, hey, guys. And then I just went back with the crew tour bus. So there was actually quite a lot of us. And a few other guys were all trying to juggle and things like that.
Look. To be honest, these balls, they look like they're fake. It looks like they are...
they're very shiny.
They're you put them on afterwards because they are like... So especially the orange one.
They're very slippy as well. It actually turns out this took me many attempts to do. You actually see me say finally there because it took me so many attempts because just grabbing that ball, like because it's like bobbing around and floating around. Yeah. And then I got myself a nice long clip in case I needed this. And that's really good. It's good to have a waterproof camera. This was pre GoPro, but it was good to have it. All right, next clip. Here am I in Antarctica in 2017. I have a whole vlog about me juggling in Antarctica, telling stories of me performing for penguins there as well. And there's a pool, and every time I'm in Antarctica, I love to go and get in the pool and just hang out in the hot tub
because everyone stands and looks out to Antarctica,
and then when you're in the pool, is actually a really good place. I say it's weird to say, every time I'm in Antarctica, but I have been there like 7 times now, I think.
How cold is it outside?
It's very cold, and that's why I jumped in the water.
Actually nice.
Actually, on this day it was pretty good, but sometimes you're there, and it gets down like depending on what time you're out and about, and if it's wind, it can feel like minus 20 degrees and things pretty easily. Ooh. Okay, this is not a juggling trick, but this is me. I just found this clip as I was looking back through. It's ring juggling. This is at the Tropical Islands, which is a rig resort in Germany in 2017. And it's like #juggling ? Next, let's just see that again because I'm quite proud of this. It's one of those things that it always looks good when I do it in the swimming pools, but like I'm never quite sure if it actually looks good. And this is the only time I've ever done this. Victor says, I would like to find that ball on beaches of the USA. Yeah, maybe which way the currents go. Do they go across from there?
Could have popped up there.
So Venice in Italy is another place that I've been to many, many times, and it floods. And this was a time when it was flooded, and I was like, hey, I should get myself a juggling video of me here. And you know what year I did this one?
When was that?
2011. You can tell because every time there's a ball bounce on my top of my head, almost every time it's 2011. So yeah, it turns out Venice floods.
It does regularly.
And now they put this seawall across there to stop it flooding quite so often. Yes. Turns out it still floods.
Of course.
All right, next up, Luke gets wet. I would have included this one in the fountains, because I was running short of fountains, but I'd forgotten I had this clip. This was when I was in Lima in Peru. Manuel took me along to there's this whole water park. Well, it's not water park, it's a fountain park, so it's just loads and loads of fountains. Yeah. They have a light show where they shine lasers and video screens at this big fountains, and you go around and there's quite a lot of these walk under bits of water. And this is the one that
it looks like you didn't plan on getting wet because you're making quite a fuss of getting wet.
Yeah, it was a bit more wet than I was expecting.
At the end, you said the wind must have changed.
Yes, so that's always the excuse with juggling if something goes wrong. So yeah, this is this would have. I just was looking through, and I was looking for that clip of me in Antarctica, and I was like, where is it? And I was like, that's in a folder on another hard drive with the video footage from that vlog. And it turns out that same trip I'd been in Lima, and I made a vlog about juggling and hanging out with jugglers in Lima in Peru again in 2017. Yes. And so when I looked at that, I was like, here's the was that Joshua messaging me? Oh, it doesn't matter. So that was
Lima.
It was in the Lima, Peru. So this is the difficult thing
about filing things. Yeah, like you should have filed it in two different places.
I think I've got everything on this hard drive. It turns out it's sometimes a bit. All right, here we go in the juggling in the Dead Sea in 2019, and this is me floating.
Again, 2009.
Oh, sorry, 2009. Yes,
you can see in the quality of the video.
Yeah, you can say. So this is me floating in the Dead Sea. It's a classic floating in the Dead Sea shot, but also with juggling, and that was difficult to get. I wanted to juggle like this, like above my head and in this way. Yeah. It turns out when you get, if you get salty water in your eyes, it stings.
It stings.
The water in the Dead Sea isn't just slightly salty water.
No, you're floating in it.
It's very salty water. So any kind of water that sprinkles down on your eyes is like, ugh. So that's why I'm doing this weird, like, awkward juggling in front of me like this, just to stop the water splashing into my eyes, because every time I did it above my head, it was so terrible. But I did take those balls with me. Like every time I'm going somewhere that I know is going to be wet, I'll take the big floaty balls.
So how, at the point where you are in the Dead Sea, there, how deep is the water there? Like,
where I am there, the water is about this deep. Literally, I'm only
you can
floating.
Stand in it.
Like, yeah, if I can stand, I have another clip of me standing up in it, but it doesn't look like anything. It just looks like I'm standing in some water.
Yeah.
You really need to be floating.
Okay.
If I went back there, I would actually try a few more clips, because now you know what it looks like. Yeah. But I'm just giving. So I went out there with a singer from the cruise ship, know, and I was just like, oh, could you hold that for me? And she was like, yeah, no problem.
Yeah, of course.
And that's it. So next up, we've finished Wet Luke week.
Yes.
And now we're on to Unimpressed Animals week. And this was me showing this monkey. It's a macaque. It's a Barbary macaque.
Fabulous.
Aww.
He says fabulous.
Yes. Looks very unimpressed.
Now all you gotta do next is get the monkey to do that.
Yeah, now all you got to do is get the monkey to do that. Of course, someone who recognized me from the cruise ship after I'd walked up there. No, it's really fun. I've had lots of interactions with these monkeys every time I go to Gibraltar, or if I'm in that part of Gibraltar, because it's kind of easy to bait them to do stuff. I've got loads of videos, clips of me. I've got this, the what do you call it? The gorilla grip.
Oh yeah, from the gorilla pod.
The gorilla pod thing, and I had the camera, and I put the gorilla pod and was just making the. Maybe I'll show some of those clips at the end, because some of the monkey videos are quite fun. All right, here's one of the. This is actually on the second day or second location I ever went to with the International Juggler clip, and I was in Zanzibar, Prison Island, and I went along there to see the giant tortoises. What are they called? I even have it here. This is an Adalbra giant tortoise on Prison Island in Zanzibar, also known as Changu Island in Zanzibar.
It's more interested in the food.
Yeah, that's why I held the green one out to him. I was like, does he think this is food? And he's like, is it food?
Smells
it?
It doesn't smell like food.
I think actually this guy is the most impressed of all of them, and I was trying to get him to do anything. Wasn't interested at all. Now, you and I went back to Prison Island a few years later in 2012.
We did.
That gap between 2009 and 2012 feels like so long, because like that was like a huge part of my life.
Yeah, and so many things happened.
Yeah, so many things happened, and we got together, and then we went back there, and we actually went and saw the same Aldabra giant tortoises, and we also saw them having sex, and that's still one of the funniest sounds I've ever had. It's one of the funniest sounds I've ever heard. Yes. Ever heard is two giant tortoises having sex. It was hilarious. Do you want to do an an
No.
I'm going to do an impression.
Please don't.
It goes like this.
Stop it. Awful.
All right, next unimpressed animal, wallabies. This took me ages to get this, because every time I tried to do these, to get a video of me juggling in front of the wallabies, they didn't do it. So I was trying for so long, and the final clip was, and then they jump away, and I was like, that's it. But it takes so long to get it, so that I can't be doing other juggling.
At you. Look at them. Look at the ears.
Yeah, they were actually looking at me, unimpressed. But yeah, it took me a long time.
Oh, no, look, the little one.
Yeah, and they go away. So I just put this in fast motion, and then they're like, oh, look. So they were very cute. I had a lot of fun.
They were actually impressed.
They were at least looking at me. But what the most fun thing is you don't see it here, but like the many other times I'd set up the camera, start walking around, and they'd be like, boing, 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 and I'm like, and then I'd set it up again, and then we boing, boing, and that was the one time I did it. But no, it's great. It's for in all the clips of all the times where I'm like, here I am in Australia juggling. This is such a cool one. And you see what's on my t-shirt?
It's kangaroo.
I was even wearing my kangaroo t-shirt. I was really hoping on the unimpressed animals section that you posted a clip of you juggling for humans and claiming them. That would actually be pretty funny. All right, next unimpressed animal. We were in again. It was on the same trip when we went to East Africa all the way down to South Africa. There was this one time that we were at this place, and I was like, "Hey, I'm gonna go out with my camera and try and video." Because we were out before and we saw some giraffes in the distance, and it was at the nature reserve, and it's not a nature reserve with any dangerous animals. It's all like zebras and antelope and giraffes. And so early in the morning, like I just got up at 5 o'clock in the morning. Everyone else on the trip was just sleeping in. I was like, come on, let's go out. Let's go out and explore and try and take photographs of cool. And I had a fantastic morning out there just by myself. Spent 2 hours looking at zebras and giraffes. Although I never managed to get a video of me juggling. I'd love to get a video of me juggling in front of giraffes. It never worked. But this was the best clip that I got on a tripod. There was actually from the day before, Juliana had a video of me juggling with some zebras in the background. But that was before she was like an expert camera operator, and it's just shaking all over the place. And I was watching it back now. I was like, I remember this clip with these zebras in the background. I want to share that one. And I looked at it, and I was like angry at how bad Juliana used to be at doing camera work. She's like, now my nitpicks are like, hey, could you hold that shot for a quarter of a second longer? Oh, like I'm not exactly like here in the middle. I'm like, if I'm just over here. If you could just move me from there to there, that would make everything much better. And yeah, looking back at
but that was 2012.
Yeah, 2012's Juliana's video skills
so
not great.
We weren't even together for a year at that point.
Yeah, and you
coming up to 10 years.
Yeah, it's good, isn't it? Aw. Okay, this is in Berlin. We got ourselves year tickets for the Berlin Zoo, didn't we? It was like €60 each to get a. So when Juliana was leaving work, and I would go from me to the zoo was kind of like halfway. Well, it wasn't halfway, but it could be halfway between work. So we'd go and meet, and the best place in the zoo to meet was inside the hippo house.
Yes.
So I got to know these hippos pretty well, and one time I had some juggling balls with me, and I was like, oh, while I'm waiting for Juliana, I will. Do some bounce juggling in the hippo house, and the hippos didn't even look at me.
No.
Next up, I shared this clip already once for my
goats.
Basque region, and we're trying to juggle for goats.
Look, there's one that's impressed with you. It's looking at you.
I think they are. Talking of being picky about videoing, this is Emil, and he was videoing, and then he followed the goats, and then I was like, we're gonna have to do that all again without you following the goats, because I wanted to stay in the middle and then all the goats to run away from me, and we got that shot as well. But it turns out this was the better one, because this was the first time the goats had been scared by the juggling.
Yes.
But it's often fun. Talking about Gypsy Cove.
Oh, look at this.
I am doing penguin catches for a Magellanic penguin. At Gypsy Cove of the Falkland Islands. That's in 2009, and it's always fun to go back to this beach because you see that, like, if you're there like 3 times in 1 year, you can arrive there in November, and they're all like the penguins are all like digging out their little, because they burrow underground.
Oh, right.
It's like rabbit or like badger and rabbit things. They dig out there because there's no natural predators on land.
Oh, right.
They want to get away from the sea.
Yeah.
And they come onto the land, because then the seals if it's under a cove, the birds don't come down as well.
Yeah.
And then you go back and you see them all like laying on the nests, and then you go back again a few weeks later,
can see the little ones.
and then the little penguins around them following them, and then you go back and they're all swimming out to sea, and the nests are abandoned. So yes, Magellanic penguins are some of my favorite penguins, but only because I get to know the penguin families.
Yeah.
And also the geese families are there as well, but penguins are more fun to see growing up. Next up, we have the final series that we're talking about here is Going Underground Week. I went to Petra in Jordan, which is very famous for the rock cut buildings that they have down the center of the gorge there.
Yeah, look at all the holes everywhere.
Yeah, like this whole place is just full of these things. Very, very well known for being the location of the end of the Raiders. No, not the Raiders of the Lost Ark. Last Crusade. Indiana Jones' Last Crusade, where they go into there. It's an amazing place. One of the wonders of the world, one of the most impressive places I've been. I was actually visited the day before Barack Obama, and it was funny. I was looking around going, what's going on here? There's like some weird security stuff, and it was only later I was like, right. All those unmarked vans were Barack Obama's security. Of course, when he went there, it was completely empty. It looked great on his photos, packed full of tourists. So this was, I wanted a clip of me like in Petra without a lot of crowds, and it turns out the only way to do that is to go inside one of these buildings. into one of these warehouses or buildings or homes or whatever it is. Petra, amazing. I would recommend it to anyone to visit there. And next up we have, this is on our trip when we were driving down to the EJC in France. Yeah,
in 2013.
And we went to some wine tasting in the Loire Valley. The Loire Valley is full of these places where they get what is it, plaster, like the plaster of Paris. You know, they got all the catacombs under there. All of that area, you can get the limestone. No, what is it? It's not limestone. What do you call it? Calc? No, there's a word for it.
Some stone.
Whatever the stone is that you get that you can then break down, and it becomes chalk. Yeah, anyway,
chalk.
So they use this because the temperature stays the same all year round in these underground grottos.
Yeah.
What do they call it? A troglodyte wine tunnel. So yeah, they.
And you I mean, of course, it's maybe visible.
What?
But the Loire Valley is
full of wine.
Is full of vineyards.
Yes.
No, vineyards?
The Loire Valley is empty of gypsum. That's it, gypsum. That's the word I'm looking for. The Loire Valley is empty of gypsum and full of wine. So there
that's
you go.
Interesting, because you know how this is called in German?
What's it?
Gips.
Yeah. Next up, we have, this is the Sedlec Bone Ossuary. There's this little chapel. You see, that's way too long. This is what I was saying before. It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and you're already gone. I'm not sure why I only juggled for a small amount of time. So there was this place in Kutná Hora, which is a town in the Czech Republic. And somebody went to the Holy Land and brought back a little bit of dirt from the where the site of the cross was. And they sprinkled it on the ground, and then everybody else was, well, I want my body to be buried in the place where sprinkles of the ground from the tomb of Jesus, whatever, that kind of thing. So many people were being buried there, and they're like, look, too many people, we got to get all these bones out of the ground. So they had to keep digging up the bones again to keep making more place. So then they made this underground grotto, like underneath the church, and it's all decorated with bones and skulls and
like the chandelier is all bones.
The chandelier is all like made of like leg bones here and loads of skulls, and over back here is just piles and piles of leg bones. Again, a bit like the catacombs of Paris, although I've never been there. This is like a miniature version of that. Sort of like, what do we do with all these bones? We're going to make art, and they decorated this cellar of a church.
And they sell little. I wouldn't say merchandise, but they sell little pieces, and so you got some
what pieces?
Little pieces with pictures and stuff.
Oh, I don't know.
I got some coasters.
No, they're not coasters. No, those are photos that I took in there, and then Pola had those coasters made. They were.
Oh, really? I remember at the entrance.
Okay.
There's a little table where you can buy little.
That might be, but the coasters that we have is something a gift that Pola made, where she picked some photos that I'd taken there and put them onto coasters.
Okay.
So our coasters actually do have detail, like skulls and other bits and pieces from this location.
But you still can buy stuff there.
Here we are in Liverpool in the Cavern Club, where the Beatles played a lot and became famous. This is where the Beatles became the Beatles phenomenon. And apparently it's still a live music venue, and he says here, look, the beat goes on 60 years of the Cavern Club.
Yes,
so
in 2017.
And I didn't realize, I always thought the Cavern Club was sort of like, it's just like the back of a club or underneath a club. Turns out you go down a long way. Mm-hmm. It's like 5 stories underground by the time you get down there. I was really surprised at actually how deep you have to go to get down there. And everyone signs their names, so we actually did the same thing. We actually drew, because I'm the kind of traveler who just always happens to have a Sharpie pen with them in their background.
Yeah.
And so
there's certain things that you always just have with you, like
not always,
tape,
but if I have my camera bag with me, I have a marker pen that can write on stuff. Yes. All right. Next up, other people going underground. Here we are in
Liverpool.
Was that Liverpool? Yeah. Sid is a Liverpool fan. He was watching a Liverpool. Oh, so what was this? Oh yeah, this is the Channel Tunnel on our way to the European Juggling Convention in 2019.
Yes.
And Juliana, you hadn't been on the Channel Tunnel before, had you? And so we went there, and everything was like new and amazing for Juliana. Everything, and it's one of the most boring experiences because there's no experience. You drive onto a train, you don't even feel the train moving, and then the doors open and you drive out again. It's pretty much that.
But that was amazing.
It was a good one. Juggling under there is good.
First time for me.
Back in I was actually thinking about sharing this clip for the big guns.
There's also guns.
Yeah, look, there's cannons around.
Look at this cannonball. Is this? Oh no, these are.
No, they're the back ends of cabins.
look like.
And I was trying to
cannonballs.
I was trying to get the balls from bouncing around. Turns out I always think, I'll get some bounce juggling clips. The floor is never as flat as you think it's going to be. But in this area, I was like, I can do some bounce juggling here, because if the balls bounce away, unless they bounce out of the windows, because while this is underground, this is actually halfway up the Rock of Gibraltar.
Oh, right.
This is actually, these cannons point out over now where the airport is. There's an airport down there on the gap on the isthmus, let's call it that, between Spain and Gibraltar. So that's where we can put these cannons here, and that's why it was these kind of underground bunkers, which are actually underground but also hundreds of meters in the air, like hundreds of meters up above, or maybe 150 meters up above in the rock.
Right.
So if any enemy is coming, if you're shooting down like 100,
it's difficult for them to shoot up.
And also when they shoot up, they have to hit this size target here, like this little bit. So anyway, this is St. Giles Horse again in they're called the Great Siege Tunnels, and there's various different levels. These are the siege tunnels from whatever war with Spain it was that they were trying to reclaim it 200 years ago. But then you've got all the siege tunnels from the Second World War, and there's way more of those, because then they had like industrial digging machines, and there was a bit more going on. But yeah, it's so impressive that in the Second World War that Britain kept hold of Malta and Gibraltar like throughout all of it. You'd think those are the first targets to go, but it's the fortifications. You've got up until that point already hundreds of years worth of naval fortifications, and they're like, all right, bring it.
Well, they perfected all that really well. It's
So that's
good in warfare.
That's the Great Siege Tunnels in Gibraltar, a clip from 2012. Next up, going underground a week. This is it's called an inverted tower. It's the initiation well, or one of the two initiation wells at the Quinta da Regaleira in Sintra, Portugal. It's a very rich person. These days, if you're really super rich, you buy and set up space companies and try and get rockets into space and set up space tourism. But back in the day in Portugal, you would move out to Sintra and build a palace or build a mansion, and then
a fairy tale garden around it.
I've been there like 3 times now.
I'm surprised
we visited together.
Didn't we also take a video?
Yeah, we got some various videos.
Yeah, this is from 2012.
Yeah.
Is this your ball there? It's a red thing.
No. It's a bit of litter or something like that. So there's a few of these wells that they build into the ground. They're not actually wells. They were called initiation wells, because they were used for initiation rites into some tarot card reading things from crazy people. The whole place is like a fair. It's like a theme park fairground of like cool caverns underground.
If British people do that, they're called eccentric.
Eccentric, yeah. This is very eccentric garden design. Loads of grottos, underground waterfalls, streams coming through, and you get these cool wells. So this is the bottom of the well, and then to get up to where I've put my camera, you actually go up this spiral staircase, like around the inside and up here. Yes. And there's another well which is bigger and more impressive, but this is the one I got a video of me juggling in. So that's it. So let's go through some other spare videos that I had here, which run off the end of my 4 weekly themes that I did. First of all, this is another Luke Gets Wet. However, I shared this video twice before, because this is the best video that I have from Grenada in the Caribbean. So I shared this is me juggling in Grenada in the Caribbean video, and then I also shared this video in the Waterfalls versus Fountains series. Yes. This is me juggling for probably too long, but it's fun. Throw the balls through the waterfall and then dive through the waterfall. Fantastic place. Last time I shared this, I said that there's a place I was going to jump in from the top. But then by the time I did it, the guys who had been jumping in had left, and I wasn't quite sure of where I was actually aiming for down in this pool.
It's always important to know.
Probably anywhere in there would have been good. I could have jumped into. So yeah, and also this clip is too long. It's lots of me and then I was having to swim holding 5 juggling balls. It gets very, very confusing. Here's another Luke Gets Wet, but again, I'd shared this one twice as already. It's a clip from Zambia. Also, it's the waterfall, and it's me juggling at Victoria Falls in Zambia.
Also get wet.
And I also got wet, so that's why I didn't share this one.
We both got quite wet.
Yeah, but we had the
GoPro.
We had the GoPro, so it didn't matter if the camera got wet. Yes. But that's still a fun clip. Here's another one. This is the clip that I shared of me in Tahiti. This is in
Tahiti,
yeah. And there's another one of the entertainers who are there as well. Next up, and this is an animal clip, unimpressed animal clip. I shared this one from, I think, Zimbabwe.
Yes.
And so, yeah, we were at this place called Antelope Park, and they have some
That
elephants
wasn't my birthday.
Oh, yeah, look, on your birthday. Yeah, I remember we went for a nice dinner, and they served us wine, and it was dessert wine. The elephant wasn't impressed with me.
It's eating peanuts.
I mean, it made for a fun juggling clip.
Yes. Oh, that day was just amazing.
Yeah, we walked with lions. Yeah, and then the elephant trainer came out and wanted to show.
And he juggles inverted.
Yeah. If
Great.
you learn to juggle wrong and nobody tells you different, that's how you juggle.
I don't think it's wrong. I think it's just.
If you learn to juggle in a not a normal way, yeah.
But it's fun.
Here's another unimpressed animal, but I'd shared this clip already. It was mostly me struggling to juggle 5 clubs in the wind, and then this dog came over and disturbed me, and so I was like, "Quick, leave it rolling! Don't stop the video." And so
quite bored.
This dog literally yawns and looks away from me as I juggle. So I was gonna share this with on the unimpressed animals clip, but yeah, it's just me juggling 5 clubs. You can really see how sideways I'm having to do it in the wind. It was pretty good. So that's unimpressed animal. Oh, here's another going underground. This was one of the first clips I did, and I have tennis balls in a can. You can hardly see it.
Yeah.
This is in the Alboni caves next to Tanga in Tanzania.
Okay. Yeah, can hardly see anything.
Can hardly see anything, and it's a really low quality camera, and it's in the dark. But there's some fun caves there, and I went off for a trip there. That's good. Another going underground one. I didn't share this one, but it's me in the Greenwich Tunnel in London, and it was a cool tunnel, and I got myself a bounce juggling clip here as well. All right, what other clips have we got here as well? No, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
What was the date here of the monkeys? 12.
I thought you were going to find the Zanzibar when we were there later.
No, I don't. I don't think I actually got video. I don't have the videos here as well. So 2012, 12/03. Yeah. So let's go here. 2012. 2012, 12/03. So let's just. My mouse scrolls. Oh, it's. Date created. Oh no, I actually should just do it by name because sometimes the date creation. Or is it 2012 12/03?
12/03.
And I'm gonna find some more monkey clips. 20. Oh, it's still in 2010. 20.
Oh, and by the way, System Cat.
20.
I think
2010. Was it 2010
2012? 2010 12/03.
I literally, your only job here was to.
You didn't say that.
No, it was. I said remember this. 2010 12. It can't be 2010 12/03.
It was 2012.
2012 10/03. I could just go back and look. This is really dumb. All we had to do was
people on the live stream. When was it?
All we had to do is weekly themes shared.
I just thought I could.
Where is it? Gibraltar 2012 12/03.
Okay, let's keep that in head. 2012 12/03.
But isn't that just where I went to? 2012.
12.
I'm getting there. I could probably have searched for it quicker.
12.
All right, here it is. Let's check out. Oh, this was another. Oh, that's why I wanted to look this up. So also in Gibraltar, it's all limestone. So when the water comes through, it creates caves. And these are some natural caves. It's not just war caves. So in one point, there are some cool caverns and lots of stalagmites and stalactites. Yes. That's why I was going to have a look here as well. I remembered that.
Nice.
And this is one of those times where I juggle once, and then of course other people see me do it, and like, oh, and again
juggle
for the
again.
camera. Loads of clips of me juggling once, stopping juggling, and then someone going, and again from the camera with the flash photography.
Yes, yay, flash photography, my favorite. Anyway, I just wanted to answer this question.
Yeah, what's the question?
And I think you actually still have a Sharpie in your backpack. You don't have an edding.
No, I don't have eddings here as well.
It's a Sharpie, like an original one.
This is me. Oh, those are those same 2 clips.
Brandon,
oh, I'm actually here. I'm saying with some of the tourists there, I'm saying, look, I'm going to go over here and hopefully get these monkeys to come over and juggle. And all I want you to do is make sure that they don't run away from the... So yeah, this is... I was thinking of using some of these clips for the unimpressed animals. So I'm trying to get them. I spent ages trying to get. Come on, monkeys, come over here. And the guy, I'm like, just make sure they don't run away from the camera.
How are you supposed to do that?
Oh, is that it? Oh, that's all the.
No more monkeys.
Those are those monkeys. It must be a different time when I was there with the monkeys.
Yes.
I'd have to look up another time when I was there with the monkeys.
Gone back to that so many times.
Anyway, I thought I'd just share another me juggling in a 20. Thanks, Brendan. A bit late now. Okay, let's where we're looking over here now.
Yeah.
That's it for the ships. The clips that we're sharing now. We've done like 45 minutes of that kind of stuff. Yeah. I hope you've enjoyed sharing those stories. I'm not sure what the next theme is going to be. Maybe I'm not going to do it anymore. You know why?
No more themes?
Well, because now the weather's getting better.
Yes.
Like, I got vaccinated the other day. Juliana's got both her vaccinations. In a few weeks, she'll be what was I said before? Maximally vaccinated. And what we actually want to do is actually start traveling and doing stuff and doing more things. So I think I'm going to knock the International Juggler hashtag, like sharing things daily, on the head. I might go through and do one final pass through and find all of the most interesting clips which didn't fit in any of the themes,
yes,
which aren't unimpressed animals, aren't me getting wet, aren't me juggling underground, aren't with fountains or this kind of stuff. Like, I've got loads of other themes here as well. Look, I got going on, what's this one as well? Lighthouses, towers, cool trees. So I mean, there's some cool things. I'm like, I don't have enough to make a theme of cool trees, but I've got a few cool trees. I was like, oh, here's a cool tree in Zimbabwe that I was juggling next to. So I think I'm just going to go through and just find a selection of like the dregs, like the bring out your dead, pick last at school in the playground. I'm going to get all of those clips and just share some of those, and that'll be coming up over the next month. And then after that, hopefully we'll
be back and actually making new
around
footage
and travel and go somewhere which is more than 300 meters away from my home. But otherwise, that's it for this live stream. I want to say thank you to all the people who are. Look, did you see what I just did? I tried moving the mouse down to the iPad screen. It doesn't go down that far.
It doesn't.
So I want to say thanks to everyone who has been hanging out in the chat here and the people watching live. This will now be uploaded to the higher quality version, which is going to be, although this isn't very good quality. This webcam's not very good quality. The high quality version will be uploaded to YouTube as its own video. People can watch that. I just want to say thank you to all of our Patreon supporters for making this possible and encouraging us to put out content and doing the live vlogging, the live streaming and the vlogging and the video essays that I've been doing. Thank you very much. If you'd like to help support us on Patreon, you can head over to patreon.com/Luke Burridge. All the support helps fantastically. We just had to spend €120 for hiring a hall for a video project that we did for the NJF, for their live show, or their live stream show that we did. And also, I'm going to drop in the chat in a few minutes the links to the videos if you want to see the behind the scenes videos of us doing it. They'll be released in a few months' time, but this is for the people who've been hanging out in the chat. Thanks for watching, and that's it. Oh, and also thank you very much for Victor Coco for being our very first what is it called, top chat, what's it called?
Plus chat.
I don't know. Whatever it's called. Super chat. Our very first YouTube live stream super chat. Thank you very much, Victor Coco, for your $3. I'm not sure what you get for that. Did you? I mean, you show up really quickly. I think it's for when people have got like 10,000 people watching the stream, and the chat is just going zooming by. Yes. The super chat is like, I'm going to pay you $3 for you to read my name out. I'm like, great. Victor, thank you very much. And to all our Patreon supporters. All right, that's it. Thank you very much for watching the May live stream for our Patreon supporters, the International Juggler live stream. We will be doing one more live stream at the end, probably on the last day of the month, or the second to last day of the month, when we're going to be going through all of my Trick-a-Day May videos and doing a podcast and maybe live stream about Trick-a-Day May and how that's how it's affecting my juggling and getting into juggling and things like that. Yes. Or getting back into more regular juggling after many months of not juggling regularly.
Yes.
All right, that's it. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.